I don't. By the way, I don't recommend doing what I what I just said. Like, if anybody's watching this, you're like, you know what? I'm gonna find a stranger and go stay on this couch. Like, it was so dumb. It was so dumb. It was as dumb as dropping a 100% college scholarship and going on the road with no money and no fans.
You're listening to Unmapped, a show about exploring new destinations and getting off the beaten path. I'm Angelina Zeppieri. I want to introduce you to my pal, Danny Duncan.
Okay, my name is Danny Duncan. I play drums for the band We the Kings. And also I'm a YouTuber. I like to daily vlog. It's getting more fun now and more vamped up now that I've got a family that's growing. And I just kind of bounce back and forth between those two things.
This dude has been everywhere. We the Kings is a platinum-selling band that has toured all over the world.
Let's go see some of the sights of Japan. We made it to Zurich easily. One of the top 5 cities in this country is San Francisco. Tomorrow we're heading to... Sydney?
Where are we going?
And Danny's YouTube channel gets tens of thousands of views on every video. My producer Adam and I talked to him over Skype to find out more about the adventures that his band and his vlog have taken him on.
Are we live right now?
We're not live.
Not live.
All right, see you later. But the show is going on.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's
The show is happening right now. Okay, let me know when the show starts. I'll finish my wine.
Fuck, where's my wine? Where's our wine?
You know, we should have
Yeah,
been
right?
prepared. We are not prepared.
No. Danny Skypes us from his home in Florida, wearing a t-shirt and his long hair pulled away from his face in a black baseball cap with a tiny Mickey Mouse logo on it. On the wall behind him is a large map of the world.
Big fan of travel. Like, I feel like I've been everywhere. Like, the world used to be so big when I was a kid. You know, when you can name sort of some landmark or you know, the inner workings of the airport there, like, it feels smaller. But I've only been to like maybe, 15 countries. It's just so spread out across the map that it feels like it's been like that. But I've never been anywhere like China or like, Russia or anything like that. I have been to most of the main countries in Europe that have a big touring fan base for our style of music. Been to Africa. It was a military base. Been to Japan, Switzerland, Australia a couple times, each of those. And they're all so amazing in their own ways. I love them.
You've obviously been all over the U.S. as well.
Yes. It's hard for me to answer these questions without sounding like I'm bragging. I have like a real insecurity with that. So if I can just answer freely. I was going to do one of those map things. You see this map in the back?
Mm-hmm.
I was going to do the thing where I was putting all the pins on there. But like the U.S. just turned into like the red, like this big giant red thing. And like it was nothing because that's our market. It's the U.S. And, we've been touring for 12 years. I would hope we've been to most of it.
Have you been to every state?
Every state, yeah.
Every
the last
single one.
Yep, the last one was Alaska.
We're flying to Alaska, the last frontier. You excited?
Oh, yeah.
I'm excited. You excited?
Hi there. We needed that.
Yeah, right?
And we played a show there, and it was Alaska's just it's a different vibe, and I love it. I love it. It was great. It wasn't like a freezing Alaska, but it was fun.
This says it's 64 degrees outside right now. Wow, look at this. How about that, JJ? Some real Alaska for you.
It was very cool. It was just Anchorage. It wasn't like we were, riding on the back of grizzly bears or anything.
Making it to Alaska was a big deal for this Florida band that started as a small high school passion. When Danny wasn't playing the drums, he was flipping pizzas to make money in those early days. He even kept up with the job between gigs, including the band's first tour.
Our first tour was in an Econoline van. I think that's what they're called. They're never just white or blue or maroon. They always have those weird stripy colors on the side. Like ours was white with that sort of ocean green stripe on it with like a brown accent on it. It had a TV on the inside, captain's chairs that reclined, kind of like a cheap vacation van, if you will. I don't know. It was incredibly exciting. Like I kind of painted the picture of my life in high school back at home. And then all of a sudden we're driving through all these states. It was kind of like when social media was really just taking off as like a way to promote your band. You know, it was the MySpace days, you know, and like you could post a photo to Facebook to show everybody. And like, that was all just so incredibly exciting. Every state line we passed, and a lot of us had never even seen snow before. So that was, you know, imagine just, you know, we're like 19 driving like into snow. That's the first time you see it, is you have to figure out how to drive in it. But it was just this kind of surreal experience of, you know, just a bunch of kids. Like, it was our university. It was our college, if you will. Like, everybody has like their college at a main university. Like, we were just like the University of the Road, if you will. Like, that was just like our college experience, going out and seeing everything, and playing in a bunch of venues. They weren't giant crowds, because our very first tour, we weren't technically signed, which, remember, that was the short-sighted goal. But we thought that was the next step. Like, do you guys want to quit, or do you want to keep doing this? Because the next step is going on tour and playing in front of like 13 people. So we're like, nah, I don't want to quit. This is like the happiest thing in my life right now. Let's go do this. So dropped out of college, lost all my scholarships, totally worth it, rolled to Big Paradise, and we just hit the road. And there were so many cool experiences in there that are in a weird way unmatched to this day. I'm sure you're familiar with the famous venue CBGB's. Some say the birthplace of punk, depending on who you're talking. If you tell somebody from England that, they'll be really upset. But you know, the Ramones like really exploded in CBGB's. We got to play that venue before they shut it down. But we got to play the venue. No doors on the bathroom. There wasn't even a toilet seat. Just stickers everywhere. Just a very surreal experience that kind of like just makes you. It turns that short-sighted goal into like a. You know, I really want to do that. Like, this needs to be a thing. I want this to be my life. Like, what do we have to do to make this happen all the time? Like, I don't want this to be a vacation. Every day just turned into something like that, like working harder and harder. And, you know, the crowds would go from 10 people to enough MySpace promotion to turn into like 30 people and stuff like that. And everything would grow like slowly, but obviously it came with its hardships, but it was just a very, very surreal experience to leave a small town in Florida to go see all that stuff. Very cool.
How long was that first tour? Like, how many days were you guys on the road, or months?
We would go for about 2 months at a time, which is a lot when you have no money, you know. I mean, I don't know if you can tell, but riding my bike to a pizza place to get money was my source of income. And, you know, you barely made enough to pay the gas to get to the next city. So it was just kind of as long as we could go. And 2 months felt like it was a good tour, a good chunk, a good, like, we've seen enough people to make this grow. We've established something to where when we come back, maybe the word will have spread, and then there will be more there. So 2 months, it's a pretty long time for somebody with no money.
It's a long time to be on the road.
We were gypsies. We were like, by definition, gypsies. It was crazy.
Obviously, returning home now, you know, is different than returning home when it was 12 years ago and you guys were just starting. What was it like coming back home after your first couple tours of, you know, being gone for 2 months?
I wanted to tell everybody, you know, when I came home, like, I was on a tour. Like, oh, Los Angeles, I've been there, you know, that sort of thing. You just wanted to tell everybody, like, about what you've done. It's kind of cool in that way. You felt like a little champion of your hometown and stuff like that. But now it's definitely more of a homecoming because, you know, you've actually built something here. Whereas, you know, when I was 19, I was, you know, still living with my mom. So it's definitely a lot different in that sense. It's changed the way you look at it. The appreciation isn't lost, but it's kind of grown on the other side of coming home. So
were you guys able to sustain the excitement off of those tours, or did you have to come back and work normal jobs?
That's a good question. You know, a lot of people don't ask that. I had to go right back to working at the pizza joint, and that's tough. Doing that as hard as it is at first, and as little money as you make at first, it's tough to come back and just be like, all right, next one's pepperoni and onion, get it in the oven, and you go back to like flicking pepperonis on a pizza. It's tough, but you know, luckily it was more and more frequent. Like the times at home would be just less and less and less, and we couldn't wait to get back out on the road and do all that stuff. It was definitely an adventure. Yeah, it was humbling and then like exciting. It was just everything. It was a very emotional sort of beginning. Yeah, very, very.
While I'm no musician, seriously, there's not a musical bone in my body. I can relate to Danny from a traveler's perspective. When I return home from a trip, I want to tell everyone about it. I live for sharing my perspective and newfound admiration for that destination, much in the way Danny and We the Kings would return home jazzed about their tour. There's something about inviting others into your experience that helps sustain the excitement and emotion you had felt while living it. Find out one of Danny's coolest travel stories after this short break. Hey pals, I want to quickly tell you about Techni 17. When I'm out here running around from city to city, I'm constantly browsing sites for awesome places to go and explore. So it's safe to say that the way a business presents itself online is very important. If your business is in dire need of a website revamp to attract consumers like me, then you need to check out Techni 17. Simply put, Techni 17 builds solutions. They understand that time is a valuable resource, so their priority is to maximize your time by streamlining your digital workflow. Whether it's building a custom website, designing the perfect logo, or launching a mobile app, Techni 17 is committed to providing solutions that make your business more efficient. Head over to techni17.com/unmapped now and kick your business's digital needs into overdrive. That's TECHNE 17.com/unmapped. We the Kings had humble beginnings, but have really grown and achieved success since they first started out, moving on from pizza jobs and janky vans. Today they travel on actual tour buses and fly to shows around the world to play for their fans. Having such a big following all over the globe is a position that Danny described as a blessing and a privilege when the band gets the chance to meet with these fans in person.
That is one of the absolute privileges of, doing what we do. Like, not often, but sometimes we'll even just pull into a spot and be like, I lost my charger. Can somebody bring a charger to the show? We'll take a picture with you. We'll sign whatever you want. We'll give you a free t-shirt. And it'll happen. And it's very cool because at the end of the day, like, I'm just another person. There's no reason to want to meet me more than somebody else. But
like this one time at a park in Switzerland.
I tweeted out that if you wanted to meet in Zurich, to head to a certain park that we're heading to right now, and hopefully we'll see some beautiful smiling faces when we get there.
I think I had it was 35 people who just come to this park in Switzerland and hang out.
One more time, what was your name?
Kyla.
Kala?
Kyla, yes.
Kala. She works at a chocolate factory, Lindt, and she brought me all kinds of chocolate. Now, that's two things. That's A, very cliche, that in Switzerland she brought me a bunch of chocolate and that she works there, and B, it's amazing. She didn't know which flavor I wanted, so she just brought me almost every single one that they have. Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
But it was just so cool that these people knew about my life, and I wanted to hear all about theirs. But yeah, that trip was kind of crazy. I've never actually told anybody this, but somebody just invited me to go stay there on their couch, and I had never met them before. It was sort of a weird time in my life, and they're like, "Hey, I'm not a weird person. Here's this and this." Not that that's any sort of vetting, but he's just like, if you wanted to come, stay on my couch, you're more than welcome to, and I can show you all the spots in Zurich, Switzerland, which is one of my favorite cities in the world. And so I was just like, you know what? Why not? Let's do it. So I just flew over, met the guy, as he picked me up from the airport. He's a super cool dude. He's like an art student. He showed me all this cool stuff. He's actually a tattoo artist now.
Huh.
But his name is Adrian. Very cool guy. Very, just couldn't have worked out better. It was a super nice host. Took me hang gliding in Interlaken, Switzerland. Took me to all the sites to see all around. We just went from town to town. He had friends, and we went and stayed on their couches in Bern, Switzerland. It was just such a cool experience. And then every kind of stop of the way, we could just sort of tweet out and say hey, if anybody, I'm not going to be over here anytime soon, without the responsibilities of playing a show and doing interviews. I'm just here on my own. If you want to meet up and hang out, let's do it here. So it was a very, very cool experience, and I don't take that for granted that I'm able to do something like that. Just sort of tweet out and meet up with people. It's very, very cool.
That is such a dope story. Like,
Yeah.
why have you not told more people that? That's so cool.
I don't know, because I think it weirds people out. Like, I think I even lied on my vlogs. I was like, yeah, my buddy Adrian invited me over.
By the way, this is my buddy, my tour guide, Adrian. He's gonna be who I'm living with for the next 10 days, and he's gonna be showing me all around Zurich. He's like, he just said, I know a shortcut, we can go home. And I said, no shortcuts. You show me Zurich.
The fact is, like, the only time I had really talked to him before going over there was much, it's just like this. I video chatted with him. So picture you guys live in, Alaska or somewhere crazy, Russia. And I'm just like, you know what? They seem cool. Let's do it. Buy a plane ticket, fly, and I'm staying on your couch for 2 weeks. And you guys just show me around wherever you are. And it's just, I don't know. I was definitely in a point in my life where I was like, you know what? Let's just do it.
Yeah.
And it turned out to be one of the better travel experiences of my life. It was an absolute blast, that Switzerland trip. By the way, I don't recommend doing what I just said. Like, if anybody's watching this, you're like, you know what? I'm gonna find a stranger and go stay on this couch. Like, it was so dumb. It was so dumb. It was as dumb as dropping a 100% college scholarship and going on the road with no money and no fans. But like, sometimes it just pays off, and I recognize how lucky I've been in, both examples.
Do you think that having the experience of touring around and meeting all of these different people kind of made you more trusting of strangers?
Absolutely. Like, without a doubt. Just kind of, talking to people at every city, at every show, you just, like, we're all the same, It's just like, we're all kind of like, oh, so hey, like I like these things, you like these things, and you have more in common with people than you think when you go places. So it has definitely opened me up to the idea that just just be friendlier with everybody. It's the payout, the dividend on that, on like how good it makes you feel is just, I don't know, it's immeasurable. I definitely wasn't that kind of kid in high school. I was kind of like sheepish. I had like 3 or 4 friends, and like that's all I hung out with. But now, like I said, the world seems so small now, because like you just go talk to anybody anywhere, and 9 times out of 10, people are just genuinely good people.
It seems surprising to me that you were sheepish, considering how much you live your life very publicly now.
Valentina and I are expecting a baby.
Morning, DLB. Today we're doing a little checkup. They happen more and more frequently as the due date gets closer.
Every week.
Every week? Mm-hmm. Every week. It happened. It happened. Wait.
My water just broke. It's not like the movies.
You did amazing.
How you feeling? How you feeling, Daddy?
I'm just like so overwhelmed with joy. I'm like in cloud 10 right now.
Peak on a peak.
That's the way to put it. I'm on a peak right now.
You know what? I feel like the word like introvert is thrown around too much, but I am one of those people that definitely needs to recharge my batteries, like kind of by myself. It's just something that if I'm in a crowd for too long, I just kind of need to, like, I'll take a walk. And one of the best things for that is just walking in a new city. That is hands down. I feel like if I'm on my deathbed, they say you see your life flash before your eyes. Like, I think a good chunk of it is just going to be like all these walks I went on just to explore different cities by myself. You just go like an hour without talking to anybody. You're just walking around, taking photos. Mm-hmm. I think that is one of the most just, serene times of my life. It's just, just taking a walk. Should I turn left or right? Left this time. And you just go down. One of the best ones was in Portugal. What's the biggest city? Lisbon in Portugal. Mm-hmm. I walked around there. I mean, it's hilly. It's so hilly there. And 3 hours, I think. I took like 100 photos, and it was just, I think about it all the time. It's always in my dreams. Like, it was just one of the most pleasant travel experiences I've ever had. Like, didn't spend any money, didn't actually like go see something I was supposed to see. I mean, just walked, and it was really cool. I've done that in tons of cities,
Just go. Just do and explore. Just put yourself out there and see where the day takes you. That's something that I try to practice on the regular, from day trips to overseas adventures. I feel that the best way to travel is to just go out there and do things. Don't strictly abide by what you read online or what you saw on Instagram or what your friend's cousin's roommate told you to do. They're all great suggestions to keep in your back pocket, but the best experiences, whether big or small, are the ones you stumble into. The unplanned, unmapped, unexpected adventures. It was great to hear from Danny and share that passion for exploring in this way, and to hear about his previous experiences traveling and some of his favorite destinations. But I was also curious what his future travel plans looked like, especially now that he's a new father to a baby boy named Carter.
I thought about this before, and I have an answer for that I don't think you're expecting. I would rather go places with him that I haven't been to. You know, there's a sort of the guy who's trying to tell you the scene of every movie as you're watching it to traveling with somebody. Like, I can't do the thing that we were just talking about. We're like, do you want to take a left turn or a right turn? Like, let's go this way. Like, I would be like, oh, we're coming up on this cool fountain inside the square. And he would just be like, cool. You know, like, I would rather go to Shanghai, or, you know, I've never been to Shanghai. Like, just go somewhere like that and be like, all right, where do you want to go, man? Like, what do you want to see? Obviously I would take him to New York City, and we could do like the touristy stuff, all the sites where you got to see, like the Hollywood sign and this and that, St. Louis Arch. But I just think that if it was like a real destination and we were taking like the travel seriously, like, let's do something new, I would totally want to go somewhere he's never been, because that's part of travel. You know, you find your favorite spots, but you sort of, like you mentioned with me, like, it's seeing the new and not knowing where you're going, but finding the experience in there that, you know, you'll never forget. I want to share that with him instead of being the guy that's like, you know, coming up in this next scene, this guy's going to stab the guy. But, you know, so just, I don't want to be that guy in a travel sense. So I would always want to go somewhere new with him.
Do you have some destinations in mind that like you haven't been to that you definitely want to hit up?
Yeah. So, I mean, there's major countries that we've never been to. We've never been to like India or China at all. I mean, we've done layovers in Hong Kong. We've never been to Russia. You know, I imagine by the time Carter's, you know, old enough to travel and appreciate it, like, you know, China is just going to be like this absolute utopia of travel, just crazy things to see. So I would hope that we could sort of get something like that in there. I'd love to see, you know, everything that, like South Africa, like, I definitely want to go there and travel and just have like that time with him. Just there's plenty of, you know, that map left that I can go see with him that I've never seen before.
Special thanks to Danny Duncan for taking the time to Skype with us. Next time, we'll bring the wine. You can follow Danny on Instagram and YouTube at Danny Duncan. That's Danny, D-U-N-C-A-N.
I'm going to interject really quickly to tell you all to listen to We the King's newest song, Festival Music, which can be found on Apple Music, Spotify, and they even have a lyric video that's up on YouTube. Go check it out.
Danny and the band also have their own podcast, WTK Encore. Full disclosure, they're also part of the Uncover Studios fam. You can find it wherever you listen to your podcasts.
I'm going to do that awkward thing where I find the end button.
Yeah.
Us too.
Us too. You can subscribe to our show on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, wherever you get your podcasts. If you like what you heard, leave us a review. Or better yet, share it with the music nerds in your life. You can find out more by going to our website, unmapped.show. I've been your host, Angelina Zeppieri. You can check out my travel blog at whereisnext.com and follow me on Instagram at wherenextangelina. Unmapped is a proud member of Uncover Studios. You can follow Uncover on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at Uncover Studios. If you'd like to sponsor Unmapped, contact us at sponsor@uncoverstudios.com. Our executive producer is Dave Kiney. Adam Raimunda produced and scored this episode. Our staff also includes Caroline Valentino, James DeFrancesco, Laura Scott, Alvaro Nadal, Heather Kukel, Sean Decker, Courtney Solfero, and John Hubbard Jr. Thanks for listening.